Before we get started with today's lesson, I have a math trivia question for you. What do you call the measuring tools that you see here? That's right, these are rulers. Now, what is a ruler? A ruler is a tool that we use to do what? To measure. Now, let's take a closer look at a ruler. Now, what do you notice on this ruler? That's right. A ruler has numbers. There are numbers across that side and numbers across the other side. I also see little lines in between and on these numbers. Now, when you look at a ruler, the two sides you see measure two different units. Do you know what these marks measure on this side of the ruler? That's right, these measure inches. That's that word right there, inches. And if it's just one, you call that an inch. And sometimes you'll see the abbreviation IN. Now, inches are a standard unit of measurement. Now, if I flip this ruler to the other side, I also see numbers on that side, but I notice that the numbers are a little bit closer apart together. Now, this side of the ruler measures what? It measures in centimeters. So there's the word centimeters. Now, centimeters can be abbreviated with cm. Now, a centimeter is a metric unit of measurement. So let's take a look again. On this side, you have inches, and on the other side, you have what? Centimeters. So guess what time it is now? It is time to measure. So here I have some blocks. Now, we're not going to build with these blocks. We're not counting how many blocks there are. We are going to measure how long each of these blocks are. So let's get started with this first one. So I first want to measure using my inches. So I'm going to flip it to the side that has inches. I start at the edge of the ruler. Sometimes you might see a 0, sometimes you see a line. See that line right there? I'm going to put that on the edge at the beginning of the blocks and measure. We're going to see how long are these set of blocks. These blocks are almost about 6 inches. So these blocks measure 6 inches, and that is a standard unit because we're using inches for that one. Now, I can also measure the same set of blocks using centimeters. Let's look at that. So if I start there the same way on the edge, and I go right there, how long is that? 15, see right there? 15 centimeters. And 15 centimeters is our metric unit. So this set of blocks measures 6 inches, but if I use centimeters, it measures 15 centimeters long. All right, let's take a look at another set of blocks. Oh, let's look at that one. That one's pretty long. So first, let's start off with the standard unit. Now remember, standard unit, we're using what? Inches. So I'm going to flip to my inches side. I start at the edge, and I measure, and what do I see? 9 inches. So our standard unit of measure, that's 9 inches long. Now I'm going to flip it to measure using our metric units, and that's centimeters. I'm going to start there at the edge, and look, can we see, what's that? That's 23 centimeters. So 23 centimeters is how long the red set of blocks are. All right, I'm excited to measure some more blocks. Let's find the next set of blocks. Right there, I have a yellow set of blocks. All right, so let's start off with our standard unit. And remember, standard unit, that measures inches, okay? And the metric unit measures in centimeters. All right, so we start using our inches. And now I notice it's not on the 7 and it's not 8 inches. It's in the middle of that. So we measure this, how much? That is 7.5 inches. And that's how we write 7.5 inches. That's how you write half. Now, when we look at our centimeter side, measure using that. Can you see how much is that? That measures 19 centimeters. 19 centimeters for the yellow blocks. All right, we have more blocks to measure. Oh, that one's a little bit shorter. Let's measure the orange set of blocks. All right, so we'll start with our inches. Same thing, we start on the end, measure, and how many inches are these orange blocks? 3 inches long. These orange blocks measure 3 inches long. Now let's measure using centimeters. I'm going to flip it over, start with the centimeters. I'm going to put it a little bit closer, you can see better. So it's not quite at 7, it's not quite at 8, it's somewhere in the middle. So what's that? Just like the other one, half, right? So this measures 7.5 centimeters. Now the other one measured 7.5 inches, but this one is in centimeters. All right, guess what? I have more blocks to measure. Actually, this is our last set of blocks to measure. I have a green set of blocks. Let's measure that in inches first. I'm going to flip it to my inches side. I start on the edge. So it's between the 4 and the 5. So how much is that? 4.5. That's right. With our standard unit of measure, that measures 4.5 inches long. Now using our metric unit of measure, which is in centimeters, I'll flip this over and I start here. And look right there, it's between the 11 and the 12. So how much is that? That's right, 11.5 centimeters. So these green set of blocks are 4.5 inches long, which is the same thing as 11.5 centimeters. Well, I hope you did an awesome job measuring with me. I know that if you have a ruler, now you're going to be measuring everything that you see. Remember, you can measure using inches on that side, or you can measure using centimeters. Enjoy measuring.